Hey everybody, Fifth Horseman here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and we've got a wacky looking map mode, but I am just going to show you here. I did the burn that I had yet to do with the Arm Assistant last time, and then I have let it go around a couple times until until we're intercepting Moon, like I wanted to. And we were coming around, and we're coming around on the wrong side, which is going to fling us out of the system, which is not what we want. So I have set up a burn here that is going to, instead of coming around this way, it's going to come around this way. And I didn't really care about what happened here. What I cared about is what happened here. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to eject out of Moon's orbit backwards and at a velocity that would allow me to get into an orbit around Kerbin. So he is going backwards here. And then if you look like here, if I set up a maneuver node here, it's 14 days. If I set up a maneuver node here, it's 13 days. So he's still going around Kerbin the correct way. But this is basically, he's coming down here. When I finish this burn, he's going to enter Moon's sphere of influence here, swing around the bottom, and then come out going backwards along the plane of Moon's orbit, which is the important part, exactly backwards. Enough to slow him down and get him into a nice equatorial orbit around Kerbin. And then once we have finished that, this guy is definitely done. And then we're going to launch the other arm ship, and we're going to bring it up there and attach it to the asteroid to keep it from interacting with Moon and crashing into it, etc. So that's what we're going to do right now. And that is in 4 entire days. It is way over here, so I'm going to turn on the old RCS. Actually, I'm going to... You know, I'm not going to turn on the RCS. We're going to fast forward to it first. And I did all that at apoapsis. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or what. It's up here, even though we're following Moon. It's up here that we're carrying on. It's at the apoapsis, which I think is the smart time to do it. Okay, now that we're closer to it, close the alarm and unpause. I think I'm actually not going to use RCS because this is such a small burn that I'm afraid that the use of RCS might actually cause this thing to go out. So what I've done here is I've turned off the computer, the autopilot thing that would stop him from rotating, and I'm just using physics warp to rotate this guy around. I've got 2 minutes to do this whole thing because the whole burn's going to take 2 seconds, so this is fine. Now we'll turn on the computer, and in about 15 seconds, about 25 seconds here, we are going to go into map mode, and all we care about is that our Moon escape trajectory looks like this. So let's do this burn here. And that's close. And it gets us a kind of a Kerbin orbit. I think I'm going to burn a little bit more, though. Yeah, because it needs 1.4 more meters per second. So you can't tell by looking at it, but I am rotating my ship. It's just this asteroid is so strong, or so hard to rotate. Now I'm just burning. Now I'm watching this, and I want my orbit to be kind of close to what that is. That's fine. It's a little bit downward, but that's okay. We can work with that. When we're ejecting for Jool, that's not going to be a big deal. So you are now done, and now we are going to launch the other arm ship, which is going to be cool. We're going to do that right now. Okay, and it's the Flying Brick, and Marindel, fresh home from Moho, gets to fly as the commander, because that's what you do. And then we've also got Trix and Marvin Rock Kerman on their first flights here. So we are going to launch this guy and basically just get him into an equatorial orbit in order to intercept the asteroid when the time comes. And we're just going to try to get them to a roughly, say, 80 by 80 or 90 by 90 orbit. Nothing big. And I have no idea how the ship's going to fly. I've never flown it before, but that's the fun of this. And in 3, 2, 1, launch! And pretty decent thrust to weight, a little lower than I'm used to, but nothing wrong with that. And it's all solids all the time, so these engines aren't actually doing anything. It's got freaking delta wings on the base here, which is crazy, and I love it. The ship is kind of listing to the right on its own, and I'm glad it's doing that as opposed to, say, going to the left, but I would rather have it not do that at all, but it doesn't seem to be hurting that much. It's part of the not being able to really control the direction you're going, but a little bit to the right isn't a big deal. 98% or so of our thrust is going upwards still, and here go the solids. There they go. Very nicely done. And we're still at a decent thrust to weight, so I like the ship. Got a little more control over it now, and we're also starting our gravity turn here. Yeah, I definitely want to be farther over than I am, so let's just drag this thing down here. Keep having to remember that I'm not in far, so I'm not actually going to destroy my ship by turning like this. And we're at 40 at 20, which is about what we want here. Well, now we're at 20, big same diff. And yeah, it's just cruise this guy on up. He's burning through his fuel pretty quickly. A little bit farther down than I want to be, but not a big deal. I'll just hold it at 25 until this thing gets to 30. We should be fine. He's going to lose a lot of thrust here in a second, which doesn't bode 100% well, but we'll see what happens here. I could kick off. Oh, he actually has the Duke's kicking on, so we're probably not going to lose any thrust in a second here. Nice. We did lose a lot of thrust, actually. So let's color me concerned here. Well, we're doing fine. We're doing fine. We're almost at 900 meters per second here. Our nukes are getting nice and toasty warm, but they're still fine. The one thing I think I possibly would have added to this guy, and I'm not sure how much it would have changed it, is fuel lines going from these guys up to these guys, so that when you dump this guy, the nukes are full. I don't know if it would help, but I really don't think it would hurt. And I would have at least done a test launch with it. Sometimes I do that kind of thing, and then I end up running out of this fuel before I need it. But right now, I don't think I need this guy. I'm pretty much set to get into orbit no matter what I do. So, just a thought. And there goes that guy. Goodbye. Thank you for your thrust. Now it's all these fuel tanks. Yeah, these two fuel tanks are the next thing to go. We're going to have them for a long time. We're at 50-some seconds from apoapsis, so this is basically perfect. We're doing almost no thrusting except for raising our periapsis, which is exactly what I want. Okay, our periapsis is almost over the ground. When our apoapsis gets up to about, we'll say 90, maybe 100. Oh, I'll go up to 100. When our apoapsis gets up to 100, I'm going to cut the engines. The reason for that is we are still in the atmosphere, even though we're in the upper reaches of the atmosphere, and our apoapsis is going to go down. And I want to do all the burning down here, so just when we get up to 100, that's when I'm going to stop. Okay, 97. That should be fine. Okay. Well, now there's nothing to do until we get this guy actually into orbit. We're in space, having lost a little over 10 kilometers off of our apoapsis, but that's why we did that. So now at that apoapsis, we are going to burn up just the tiniest amount to get this guy into an actual orbit. Here we go. Burning, basically just getting our periapsis up to about the same as our apoapsis. Not paying attention to the maneuver node at all. Just, there we go, 87 by 86. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to hit 1. I've actually changed this. I hit 1 to open up all the solar panels, and I hope those are the only solar panels on this thing. I'm pretty sure they are. And he even added ladders to this guy. That's pretty sweet. And let's also turn on the lights, which I never remember what the button is, so let's use this. There we go. Might as well have those lights on. Wasting electricity. Okay, now the next thing to happen is this guy. So let's go ahead and jump to him and watch him go through the moon. Well, not through the moon. That would be bad. Through the moon's sphere of influence, and we're passing by at 95, give or take, 195 kilometers. So it's quite a high distance over the moon, but it'll still be fun to watch, right? Oh, and we're going to be able to do science here when we get high over the moon. Sadly, I don't think we're ever going to be low over the moon. Science Lord apparently doesn't know about asteroid science. Let's go ahead and get you down here. Take a sample. It's worth 60 science. Keep that data. Ah. I'm usually so good at this. Okay, let's try this one more time. I mean, I could just put you right in the cockpit and board. No, walk down. There we go. Board. Okay. Things are still looking good. Our eventual orbit is going to be mostly equatorial. Mostly. And, you could actually, in theory, disconnect here. I think we're going to do that. Let's go ahead and send you home. Actually, let's wait a second and see if we actually get low over moon. What's our time to periapsis? 47 minutes. Okay. Let's write it down to about 5 minutes before periapsis here. Okay. How are we looking? We are pretty close to the moon. Let's take a crew report just to see what it is. Still high over the moon, so we don't care about that. So yeah, go ahead and disconnect yourself here. Release. And now, at this periapsis here, if you... Not here. This periapsis here, because you only have 246 meters per second, which really isn't a lot. But I think it'll be enough to burn yourself down. Actually... Close the alarm and pause. Oh, wait, no, we don't want to burn down. We want to burn forward, I think. Because we want to slow down more. Okay, one. Whoa, we should probably do it now. All we care about is our periapsis here. 44. Perfect. Okay. You are coming home. I hope you like that. And actually, I just realized that he's going to come down to reach his periapsis around here. Let's set him as a target so we can see his periapsis. That's in 2 hours. And this happens in an hour and a half. So actually, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to try to do these things at the same time here. So we're going to go to the flying brick. And now that we have this asteroid in an orbit that we can look at here, we're going to set it as our target. And right here, we're going to burn out. We're going to see what it's going to look like here. He's still going to be way out there, which is perfect. So then here, we are going to fix this. And then here, we are going to burn out to bring this here. To get roughly connected to the asteroid. Perfect. Okay, so that's the way we're gonna do these 3 burns, and I think all 3 of them are probably gonna happen before we do anything here. So let's go ahead, and this is in 15 minutes, and it's gonna be in the light. So let's wait until we're in the sunlight. And I also have to watch this guy as he comes down, because if he gets closer, we're gonna have to switch to him and arrow brake him here. Okay, we don't know how long this burn's gonna be, but it's probably gonna be moderately long. 314 meters per second is going to be a third of this, give or take, which is going to be about not quite 2 minutes, a minute and a half or so. So we'll go down to a minute, and then we're going to kick the engines on and see what happens. Okay. It is predicting a minute and a half, which is about what I guessed. So we'll go down to 45 seconds here. And I'll be back in a minute and a half. Okay, we've got a nice thing here, so now we're just going to go... we can now snap this right at the ascending node. Apparently, we can't. Okay, we're just going to delete these guys. Right there, and we'll just do this. And finally, the last thing here is a burn here to bring both of these things down. Ideally to a connection. I would like to have the purple one because I think that's the best one of the 2. There we go. That's a 313 meter per second burn, which is going to be about a minute and a half. Now I don't care about the maneuver node. All I care about is getting this purple thing, touching this purple thing, and burning prograde the entire time. About as perfect as you can get, I think. Okay. Now, the next thing to happen is right here when we're... Oh, he's... Actually, let's do RCS backwards. It's kind of a waste of RCS, but we're going to do it anyway. Just to get this intersect as close as possible. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to add a maneuver here. And we're not going to actually burn this maneuver. This is just to see what it's going to cost and how long it's going to take, give or take, to get these guys equal. That's going to be a 3-minute burn. That's all we got to remember is it's a 3-minute burn. It's like a 3-hour tour. I'm going to try to keep all this stuff. Although, you know what? It's not worth it. Let's go ahead and ditch this engine. He actually has an entire other engine that I just realized. This was probably the get him home engine, but oh well. We don't care about money, so I'm not going to try to keep that. And the funny thing is we are coming down kind of over Kerbal Space Center, which would be very amusing. I think I'm going to burn south. For no other reason than it'll be fun. Just to get ourselves as close as possible to Kerbal Space Center here. We can actually turn on the trajectories here. We're actually not going to be landing this turn. Yeah, I guess I should have paid more attention to this guy and gotten his periapsis farther down into the atmosphere while I was farther away, but not a big deal. Oh, but here we go. Boom, we're coming down. Look at that. Oh, if we turned around, we could probably get ourselves coming down on Kerbal Space Center just for the fun of it. Okay, I think we're quite possibly spending too much time on this. Okay. Actually, Island Runway, why not? Right about there. Okay. Your re-entry is going to be like right after we finish with the asteroid redirect. Let's see if I can do this. Basically, the goal of this maneuver here is to zero out our velocity relative to the asteroid. So yeah, when we're say 2 minutes from this, I think is probably the right way to do it. I think. I have no clue what I'm doing. We are burning. Now we're going to set this guy as our target. Oh, he is our target. We need to go into target mode. That's the problem. And we are, yes, we are burning perfectly exactly the way we want to go. Our target is 61 kilometers away. This burn should take roughly 3 minutes, and ideally when it's done, we will be less than, say, 10 kilometers away from our guy. I think we can afford a little bit of time warp. Okay, we can't afford a little bit of time warp. Bye-bye. Don't hit that asteroid. Okay, now these are the fuel tanks that are going down now, which is perfectly fine. Okay, the asteroid is 30 kilometers away, coming at us at 190 some meters per second here. See, I don't want to be too overzealous with my slowing down, but I also don't want to be too underzealous, I guess, with my slowing down. Because this guy does not have the thrust that he needs to do this. Okay. Yeah, you might be in trouble, Interact. But I'm gonna fast forward a little bit until this guy gets about 10 kilometers away. Okay, now we're just going to zero out our velocity, and we can do the rest when we get back from Interact. Okay, good enough. Map mode, Interact, where are you? You've already come out of your thing, so that's fine. You're just not going to land near the Space Center, but hey, we never really expected that to work anyway. Let's go ahead and switch to you. Or actually, you know what? Now we have plenty of time, so let's go ahead and wrangle this asteroid here. I think 3 meters per second is good enough. I think so. So we want the HUD back now. We want to be in chase mode. Here he comes. Still basically heading at him, which is good. Let's go ahead and slow down a little bit. Yeah, definitely want to slow down. But yeah, the RCS does not slow this guy down as much or as quickly as I expected it to, but that seems to be okay. Okay, less than 1 meter per second. I think that's good. Actually, and honestly, I think the lights are actually hurting my case here. Looks like we are going to grab it on a bump, which is good. Oh, now we're going to grab it kind of in this little valley here. If this isn't good, we'll change it, but it should be fine. And we have captured him. Let's finish this off with a landing of Interact, who magically made it through the atmosphere. And he's now going to land... I still have hope. I have hope and faith that we can land this guy. There's our symbol. We're just going to burn up just a little bit. There we go. See? Look at that. Should be perfect-ish. Now let's see how perfect-ish it actually is. Coming in for a very shallow landing. I'm watching this X to see if it changes again like it did the first time. And it is. See, it's coming down. Now, is it just because I'm in time warp? And the answer is no. So see, yeah, the X here, or the plus, I guess, is not accurate. Don't know how much fuel I have, but I'm almost out. I think that'll be fine. That right there will be fine. And see, this is coming back, but it's doing it slower than it was before. So I think it's this thing. The trajectory's on now. I haven't updated it in a while, so this might be just a bug that has been fixed already. I'm not really updating mods anymore in this series. It might be just that this is something he's fixed. Oh, look at that sunrise. Let's open our landing gear, shall we? So, we'll live with this. This is fine. Nothing wrong with this. I think I was supposed to leave the arm claw attached to the asteroid. Supposed to. Like I ever do what I'm supposed to in this series. Hopefully we'll land on a moderately flat area, because this guy's very tall. 10-degree slope. I don't think this guy's standing up. Honestly, I'm just gonna rotate him so he lands on his side. You got us 126 science. Very good. Of course, until we get 300, we can't do anything with it. We got us a lot of money back, and of course, Interact. And yeah, we don't have enough science to unlock anything. So, the next thing to happen is Jool. We're going to start doing Jool unless, and let's go back to our map mode here, or tracking station, really. The next thing to happen majorly is the Jool stuff. However, I'm going to be, whenever I do fast forwarding, I'm going to do it with this guy, because he's eventually going to re-encounter Moon, and we're going to have to handle that when the time comes. So, assuming that this guy makes it 54 days, and he probably will, well, 5 days, so every orbit's probably 6 days maybe. So we're talking a lot of days. We're talking, what, 10-ish? Like, yeah, 9 days before, or 9 orbits, I should say, before these guys get to Jool. So there's a pretty good chance he's going to encounter Moon at some point. And we'll handle that next episode. Assuming we have a Moon encounter next episode. If we don't, great. And then we'll start doing the Jool stuff, which I'm jazzed about. Super jazzed. So, I hope you enjoyed watching me wrangle some asteroids. I definitely enjoyed wrangling that asteroid. I guess it was only one. It was 2 ships, though. I am Fifth Horseman, and I will, as always, talk at you later.